ค่ะขณะนี้ใกล้เริ่มการสัมมนาแล้วนะคะขอเรียนเชิญคุณทันธิดาวงศ์ประสงค์ผู้อำนวยการสำนักนวัตกรรมและทุนการศึกษากองทุนเพื่อความเสมอภาคทางการศึกษาผู้ดำเนินรายการขอเรียนเชิญค่ะ
ค่ะก็ขอสวัสดีทุกท่านนะคะอ่าก็ขอต้อนรับท่านนะคะอย่างเป็นทางการอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะคะเข้าสู่การประชุมสัมมนาวิชาการนะคะที่นำเสนอนะคะบทเรียนการทำงานจากต่างประเทศนะคะเพื่อเชื่อมโยงการนำความรู้นะคะแล้วก็โดยเฉพาะเรื่องของการลดความเหลื่อมล้ำทางการศึกษาเนี่ยมาสู่ประเทศไทยนะคะต้องบอกว่าเวทีลักษณะแบบนี้เนี่ยเราจัดมากว่า10ครั้งนะคะเป็นประจำทุก2เดือนนะคะที่ผ่านมาก็มีหลายหัวข้อนะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นเรื่องของการพัฒนาประเมินทักษะชีวิตจากประเทศอินเดียนะคะมีเรื่องของการค้าชั้นจากประเทศนิวซีแลนด์นะคะเป็นต้นนะคะก็วันนี้นะคะก็จะเป็นหัวข้อที่สำคัญอย่างยิ่งนะคะในเรื่องของคุณภาพการศึกษาแล้วก็จะสามารถที่จะมีการพลิกจากวิกฤตนะคะเรื่องของการเรียนรู้ได้อย่างไรนะคะในสถานการณ์ที่เป็นโควิด -19 ด้วยซึ่งวันนี้ต้องบอกว่าพิเศษจริงๆนะคะเราได้มีโอกาสจะเรียนรู้จากประเทศจีนนะคะซึ่งมีเรื่องของการจัดการศึกษาเพื่ออนาคตนะคะในเรื่องของใช้ดิจิทัลนะเทคโนโลยีเข้ามาในการสอนแล้วก็ทำให้การศึกษาเนี่ยไม่ได้หยุดไปแม้ว่าจะเจอสถานการณ์เรื่องของการแพร่ระบาดก็ตามนะคะเพราะนั้นก็คือการเรียนรู้ของเด็กและเยาวชนเนี่ยไม่ได้ยุติไปนะคะแต่ว่ายังมีการเรียนรู้ต่อเนื่องก็คิดว่าประสบการณ์จากประเทศจีนเนี่ยน่าสนใจอย่างยิ่งนะคะแล้วก็น่าจะเป็นประโยชน์อย่างมากกับการจัดการศึกษาของไทยด้วยนะคะวันนี้ก็พิเศษจริงๆนะคะต้องขอบพระคุณทุกท่านที่ได้มีโอกาสเข้ามาร่วมกันนะคะก็นอกจากนี้นะคะในวันนี้เองเนี่ยก็ได้รับความกรุณานะคะจากผู้ใหญ่ในกระทรวงศึกษาธิการนะคะจะมากล่าวเปิดในช่วงนี้ด้วยนะคะก็อยากจะขอเรียนเชิญนะคะท่านอาจารย์สนิทแย้มเกษรนะคะท่านรองเลขาธิการนะคะสำนักงานคณะกรรมการการศึกษาขั้นพื้นฐานนะคะหรือสพทนะคะกระทรวงศึกษาธิการได้กรุณากล่าวเปิดการประชุมค่ะขอเรียนเชิญค่ะ
ครับขอบคุณครับเรียนท่านศาสตราจารย์ดร.หรงเหวหวางท่านดร.ณัฐพรจันเฉลี่ยเสริมบุตรท่านผู้เข้าร่วมประชุมสัมมนาทุกท่านครับผมมีความยินดีเป็นอย่างยิ่งครับที่ได้มาเป็นประธานในพิธีเปิดงานสัมมนาวิชาการครั้งที่6ในวันนี้นะครับการสัมมนาวันนี้จัดขึ้นภายใต้หัวข้อคุณภาพของการศึกษาและความสามารถพลิกฟื้นจากวิกฤตประสบการณ์การจัดการเรียนการสอนแบบยืดหยุ่นของประเทศจีนในยุคโควิด -19 นะครับอย่างที่เราทราบกันนะครับว่าโรคติดเชื้อไวรัสโควิด -19 นั้นตอนนี้ได้ส่งผลกระทบต่อการเรียนการสอนในประเทศไทยเป็นอย่างยิ่งไม่ว่าจะเป็นในชนบทในเมืองหรือที่ใดก็ตามครับเรียนว่าเราน่าจะอยู่กับโควิด -19 ไปอีกนานฉะนั้นสิ่งที่เราได้รับการเรียนรู้จากประเทศจีนซึ่งได้ดำเนินการมาก่อนหน้าแล้วเนี่ยในการเรียนการสอนผ่านระบบทางไกลคิดว่าเราน่าจะได้เรียนรู้จากประสบการณ์จากมิสเตอร์หลงเหวยหวางแล้วก็รวมทั้งท่านผู้ที่ทำการศึกษาเรื่องการทางเลือกในการจัดการเรียนการสอนนะฮะดร.ณัฐพรจันเฉลี่ยเสริมบุตรวันนี้โรงเรียนและครูนะทำการเรียนการสอนสิ่งที่เข้ามาเป็นตัวที่จะเชื่อมโยงให้เกิดความรู้ความเข้าใจของเด็กได้นั้นก็ต้องอาศัยเทคโนโลยีเป็นตัวช่วยในการจัดการเรียนการสอนเพื่อไม่ให้เกิดภาวะความรู้ที่ถดถอยที่รุนแรงในวันนี้เราจะได้บทเรียนจากทั้งประเทศจีนโดยดร.ศาสตราจารย์ดร.หลงเหวยหวางรวมถึงกรณีศึกษาจากประเทศไทยโดยดร.ณัฐพรจันเฉลี่ยเสริมบุตรที่จะเป็นทางเลือกในการจัดการเรียนการสอนที่มีประสิทธิภาพกลยุทธ์ในการจัดการเรียนการสอนแบบออนไลน์และได้รับแนวคิดเกี่ยวกับการจัดการเรียนการสอนแบบยืดหยุ่นงานสัมมนาในวันนี้ผมหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าจะเป็นพื้นที่ในการแลกเปลี่ยนเรียนรู้และเกิดแนวทางในการจัดการเรียนการสอนที่มีคุณภาพที่จะนำไปสู่การส่งเสริมความเสมอภาคทางการศึกษาเพื่อให้เกิดขึ้นในอนาคตในใกล้นี้ผมต้องขอบคุณทางกสศนะฮะขอบคุณท่านที่มีส่วนเกี่ยวข้องในการจัดการสัมมนาขึ้นแล้วก็ที่สำคัญคือขอบคุณท่านสมาชิกสัมมนาทั้งหลายที่ท่านได้เข้ามาได้ใช้เวลาว่างอันนี้ถึงแม้ท่านจะมีภารกิจแต่ได้ให้ความสนใจอันนี้จัดเป็นครั้งที่6แล้วก็หวังว่าการทำงานดีๆอย่างนี้กสศคงจะทำงานร่วมกับภาคีเครือข่ายต่อไปโดยสำนักงานคณะกรรมการการศึกษาขั้นพื้นฐานก็ยินดีที่จะให้ความร่วมมือในการที่จะดำเนินการให้เกิดบรรลุผลซึ่งการจัดการเรียนการสอนในยุคใหม่ แล้วก็จะเป็นแนวทางที่จะใช้ไปอีกนานนะซึ่งตรงนี้เป็นความคาดหวังว่าถ้าเราได้มีการสัมมนาในวงกว้างและมีผู้เข้าร่วมจำนวนมากการสัมมนาครั้งนี้ก็จะเกิดคุณประโยชน์อย่างยิ่งกับทั้งตัวของคุณครูนักเรียนรวมทั้งผู้ปกครองที่คาดหวังว่าการศึกษาในยุคนี้ในยุคของโควิด -19 นั้นลูกหลานของเขาจะได้รับการดูแลไม่ด้อยกว่าในภาวะปกตินะครับบัดนี้ได้เวลาสมควรแล้วผมขอเปิดการสัมมนาวิชาการนานาชาติครั้งที่ 6และส่งต่อเวทีให้กับพิธีกรครับขอบพระคุณทุกท่านครับ
ค่ะต้องขอบพระคุณนะคะท่านสนิทแย้มเกษรนะคะท่านรองเลขาอดีตท่านรองเลขาธิการนะคะสปทนะคะท่านได้ให้ชี้ประเด็นสำคัญอย่างยิ่งนะคะท่านบอกว่าเราจะมีการคุยกันอย่างไรนะคะแล้วก็มีแนวทางอย่างไรในเรื่องของการเรียนรู้หรือการเรียนการสอนที่จะทำไม่ให้เกิดสถานการณ์ที่เรียกว่าความรู้ถดถอยนะคะซึ่งก็ถือว่าเป็นความท้าทายอย่างยิ่งนะคะสำหรับทั่วโลกนะคะว่าในสถานการณ์โควิด -19 เนี่ยจะทำอย่างไรให้ความรู้ของน้องๆเด็กเยาวชนเนี่ยสามารถเรียนรู้ได้นะคะแล้วก็เหมือนเป็นการเรียนรู้ปกติด้วยนะคะประเด็นที่2ที่ท่านได้ให้คำชี้แนะสำคัญก็คือเรื่องของพื้นที่แลกเปลี่ยนการเรียนรู้นะคะซึ่งในวันนี้ก็น่าจะเป็นพื้นที่ที่สำคัญอย่างยิ่งนะคะที่เราได้มาแลกเปลี่ยนเรียนรู้กันจากหลายๆคุณครูอาจารย์ผอ.นะคะจากหลายสังกัดนะคะแล้วก็จะมองไปอนาคตด้วยกันนะคะท่ามกลางสถานการณ์โควิดแล้วก็หลังจากโควิดเนี่ยการเรียนการสอนเนี่ยปรับเปลี่ยนโฉมไปแน่นอนแต่ว่าเราจะมีวิธีอย่างไรนะคะทำให้การทำงานตรงนี้เนี่ยสามารถทำงานได้อย่างมีความเข้มแข็งแล้วก็มีความรู้แล้วก็มีเครื่องมือที่ดีนะคะซึ่งประสบการณ์จากประเทศจีนเนี่ยน่าจะทำให้เราได้เรียนรู้จากเขาจำนวนมากทีเดียวนะคะก็ต้องขอบพระคุณท่านรองเลขาธิการด้วยนะคะซึ่งท่านก็อยู่ในบอร์ดของกสศด้วยนะคะก็ต้องขอบพระคุณท่านเป็นอย่างสูงนะคะค่ะก็ทีนี้จะขออนุญาตกลับเข้ามาสู่โปรแกรมของการเสวนาในวันนี้นะคะเพื่อไม่ให้เป็นการเสียเวลานะคะก็คิดว่าในวันนี้เนี่ยเราได้มีวิทยากรอย่างน้อย2ท่านนะคะจากประเทศจีนแล้วก็ประเทศไทยนะคะที่จะมาพบกับทุกท่านแล้วก็น่าจะเป็นสัก2 ชั่วโมงที่สำคัญนะคะได้มีการเห็นทั้ง2บริบทเลยนะคะความเชื่อมโยงจากโลกนะคะจากนานาชาติมาสู่ประเทศไทยนะคะก็so once again I think we would like to extend a very warm welcome to our colleagues in China Professor Wang. Thank you so much for giving us time today. I think today we will be reviewing the quality and resilience of education based on the Chinese experiences on flexible learning during COVID-19. I think we all know that we are facing challenging time not only with health but also education. In terms of Thailand, how we can build more resilient education system. I think that's something that we can learn from China. And I think China has been developing various measures in order to provide learning opportunity for all Chinese students without being disrupted by using flexible learning approach. And learning, I think, can be carried out effectively using digital learning and different type of pedagogies. So we definitely looking forward to learning from China's experiences and practices. To begin with, my name is Thantida Wongprasong. I'm from Equitable Education Fund, which is hosting this forum. And we are grateful and delighted that we have so many colleagues from across Thailand attending the meeting. So without further ado, I think I would like to invite Dr. Wang, the professor at the Beijing Normal University, Faculty of Education, to kindly give us presentation. So Dr. Wang, the floor is yours. Thank you.
你选出来吧，共享。看不见。I'm happy to join the seminar and talk about how to deal with the huge crisis because of the COVID-19. Actually, today, I want to share some information on review the quality and the resilience of education from Chinese experience of flexible learning in the time of COVID-19. Actually, As you know, my name is HรงHewe. Actually, I'm from Beijing Normal University. So first, I want to share some information on Beijing Normal University. Actually, Beijing Normal is a top university on education in China. So why I introduced into Beijing Normal University because I want to show you the duty of the universities during the huge crisis for education. So actually, Beijing Normal University is founded in 1902. Actually, it is a pioneer in education in China, which focuses on teaching education science, basic learning in both the arts and the sciences. Actually, it's the first university to offer the master degree and the doctor degree in education. Actually, education is the number one in China. Actually, in a lot of a program in education is a national level. Actually, we have a program we call education technology, which is also a national key programs in China, which says on how to using ICT to optimize the education and also to provide the potential and the evidence to how to use ICT education. Actually, for the program, we have a lot of institutes and platforms. The first platform is UNESCO International Research and Training Center for Rural Education. Actually, currently I'm the director of the center. Our mission is to promote socio-economic development in rural areas by bringing about the positive changes in thinking and behavior of rural people who make up the majority of population in developing countries. Actually, is contributing to the achievement of SDG 4. As you know, SDG 4 is still a big challenge how to reach them until 2030. For this center, we have four major areas. The first one is the skills development for rural transformation, including skills development for rural people, rural community learning centers and the learning villages. Actually, it matches to support the SDG 4.4 and 4.6. The second one is teachers. Actually, quality teacher for rural schools is also very important. And also we try to create supporting systems for rural teachers focus on capacity development and also including to improve the rural schools. And also we need to consider the equality and the equity and equality in rural schools. Actually, it's also matched the SDG 4.1 and 4.C. The second one is gender equality and the women literacy is also a key priority in UNESCO family. So we try to provide some solutions, empowering women and girls in non-formal education. We are trying to find the solutions to promote gender equality and women leadership in schools, which refer to support SDG 4.5. The last one, ICT education for rural development is also a big challenges and also a big opportunity. So the role of ICT in non-formal education and rural development is the priority we try to consider. And also we try to find some solutions for ICT for facilitating rural schools. Actually, it meant to support SDG 4.B. This is the first center I'm in charge of. The second one is a national engineer laboratory for cyber learning and intelligent technology. Actually, it's a provided by the central government. Actually, this laboratory serves for, the first one is for ICT education in all China, including the city and the rural areas. The second one that we also work for saving as the enterprises, how to increase the quality of software infrastructure and the other platforms for the economic development. In this center, we have 5 areas. The first one is interactive technology for cyber learning. We try to create a new ICT infrastructure. Actually, in China, we have another new plan, the 14th 5-year plan. We call it the new infrastructure building. Where we are trying to provide the new quality infrastructure for education. The second one is knowledge model and analysis. Actually, this serves for the digital resources and the services, and how to help to analyze the textbooks and try to create the knowledge map, knowledge graph to support the teaching and the learning. The second one is learning modeling and learning analytics. As you know, learning analytics is another key area for the teaching and the learning. So we focus on how to create the model for learners and how to use the tools for the classroom and for the textbooks. The first one is design and assessment of learning environment. We try to create a learning space and a campus. As you know, smart classroom, smart campus is another area in all over the world. So it's very important to design the learning space and evaluate the learning space to try to make the better services for teaching and learning. The last one is systematic education governance. We try to use 5G AI and the big data to support the administration and the leadership, especially for the central government and the provincial government. The third one is Smart Learning Institute of Beijing Normal University. I'm also the co-dean of this institute. Actually, this institute increased 60 years ago. It focused on smart learning environment. Actually, this is a joint institute launched by Beijing Normal University and a very famous company, NetDragon, in China. Actually, we focus on smart city and learning environment. We try to create embedded learning environment in construction building in smart city. Actually, smart city is another area in China development. The second one is educational robotics. We try to use AI in schools, in classrooms. The third one is learning and design, and also we focus on open educational resources. It also is very important in line with the UNESCO recommendations. Actually, in this institute, we organized 2 journals. The first journal is Journal of Computer Education. Actually, it's an official journal of Global Chinese Society on Computer Education. The another one is Smart Learning Environment. This journal is open access, launched 5 years ago. And also we have a lot of reports focused on robotics, learning environments, and the other developments. And also we cooperated with some international experts for 2 open book series. The first one is Next Nodes in Education Technology. The another one is a Smart Computer and Intelligence. So first I want to show you the information for the 3rd wave of education triggered by COVID-19. Actually, as you know, because of the COVID-19, it's a future crisis. So when we use open learning, when we use online education to describe the new normal of education. So I show you some information about the online education. From the first two waves is from of education is going from America actually. The first one is open courseware. Open courseware and come from MIT. Open courseware initially charged by the Robert Blum, who is the provost of MIT in 1999. Actually, in 1999, they make an announcement where popularize 500 open courseware to all over the world. It's free, so all the university can access the courseware material and the syllabus of the course. Is a famous event. And then from that time, from the academic area, we find another 10 open education resources. Actually, open education resources similar is some other terms. For example, open content, open source software, even open university, open lane. So in this area, we call open education. The second wave is from Stanford University. Actually, this comes from a professor in Stanford University who teach AI course. At that time, in 2011, the professor, the courses have 160,000 people engaged in the course online. So they use AI to support the AI course learning. So we call the open education, massive open online course. This is the first courses launched in practical areas come from Stanford University. Actually, we also find some new platforms come from these courses. Maybe some idea from these courses. As you know, maybe you know Udacity, Coursera, edX. Actually, edX is open source platform from MIT, and Coursera, Udacity also from Stanford University, MIT, and Harvard University. So the third wave is online education is taken by the COVID pandemic. Actually, as you can see from the slide, actually is a professor from Tony Bates. Tony Bates is a quite famous professor in distance education. Actually, he gives some advice to those who are about to teach online because of the COVID virus. Actually, from this slide, you can see 8 advices. The first one, get professional advice and help before you start. Get the right technology. Get organized. Avoid long lectures. Maybe 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. 1 hour is too long. And watch the students work a lot. Avoid the lectures altogether. Do the best you can in the circumstance and the physical resources. Actually, we can also find some materials from our handbook and our articles. You can use them being or ResearchGate to search some reports. So the 3 waves of online education, we can see the 3 typical characteristics. From the 2000, open courseware actually is help. It matched for the assisted learning. If you need, you can find some resources. You find the syllabus. You can find some assignments. You can find some tools from the courseware. From 2010, massive open online courseware actually focus on demand learning. So if you need, you can join a course by other professors in other university. You can get the credit card. You can just browse the resources. You can also join the discussion with the students online. The second one is school-based online learning. Actually, from 2020, we use the open education for all. It means all the teachers and the students be involved in online education, almost no one less to join, to involved in online education. So for the future, we using OMO. Actually, we find some key sense to transform education. Actually, in China, we find the opportunity to use the experience of online for the last year. And we try to also we find some challenges how to keep the experience. So for internet transform education, we can see 3 stages. The first one is permeation and infusion. It means internet into the learning in education area, maybe some schools, maybe some courses, maybe some areas. The second one is reform and upgrade. It means we'll change education and the school and the classroom will be upgraded. The third one is profound transformation. It means an area, a regional, even a country will be transformed education. But nowadays, we still at the first, early stage of the first step. Education changed by internet. Even for this, we need to consider some, maybe some concerns. Actually, here we list 7 key concerns. The first one is online based offline learning space. Actually, in a classroom, if some people in local classroom and some people learn online, how to make the learning happen for all the students. The second one is the campus that crosses the physical and the virtual boundaries. It means actually some students study in the campus, in this classroom, but others maybe in outer schools. So what's the boundaries of the campus? So we need to consider the new mode of campus. The third one is curriculum. For curriculum model for flexible teaching. Actually in traditional, each course will be divided in unit by unit. And we will teach unit by unit. All the students will teach is learning unit by unit. And all the time will be slotted in different slices. But for the COVID-19, all the space, all the time will be changed. We need a flexible schedule for one course and even for all the a class, even for the school. So the model will be very flexible. The fourth one is the role of teachers in human machine collaboration environment. Actually, we try to use the video clips and also big data and also some tools to help teachers. So the teaching role, the teacher's role will be changed. So what's the new role we need to consider for the early teaching? The first one is learning evaluation based on big data, blockchain, and AI. And then the information literacy is also very important. We need to promote the capacity of the teaching to use ICT in the classroom. And also we need to create the information literacy for the students, for the future digital citizens. The last one is new education system based on a diversified supply. Actually, traditional all the education system offered by the central government, but nowadays the NGO and enterprise will provide some elements, some parts of education. So the education system will be changed. All this come from the internet, transform education. But there's so many key concerns for all the principals, teachers, parents, and the administrators. The second one, I want to show you some experience. Disrupted classes and disrupted learning. So how is China ensure learning during COVID-19? Actually, this I show you information on last year. Early last year, on February 11, nearly 200 million primary and secondary school students in China started the new semester online. With all schools closed down due to the COVID-19 outbreak, the country has emerged and what might be amounted to the largest simultaneous online learning exercises in human history. Actually, is a new experience for China and then for all over the world. Each country, each university, each school have been involved in this experience and also exercises for online education. But for China, we have some experience. The first one is strong and precise policies. Actually, in last year, February 27, the Ministry of Education have an action. And we have some announcement to all the areas of education. The first one is postpone start of the spring semester. Schools have started opening, but the majority remain closed because of all the students and the teachers must stay at home, in home. The second one is require education authorities to organize expert teams to provide mental health services to people affected by COVID-19. As you know, the first city shut down is Wuhan. So all the people must keep in a city and must keep in a community, must keep at home. So the human health is very important, as well as the health services. The second was MOE launched the disrupted classes and disrupted learning initiatives. So the central government tried to make an announcement, and we need to provide flexible online learning to over 270 million students from their homes. It's quite a huge number of the students. MOE issues guidance for protection and support of teachers because of the COVID-19, as you know. And also we need to support and enter into the job market for university and graduate students. As you know, each year in China, we have about 9 million graduate students who graduate from the university. So we need to get the opportunity to the job, to find a job, to need to enter the job market is also very big issue. So we need to find to support that. And for university, for Open University of China, provide free service to support home study initiatives. Actually, for this area is easy because of the open is using distance education as usual. So if we try to use we try to describe the scenario of disrupted learning and disrupted learning in China, we can use some keywords. The first one is flexible learning with differentiated services. Actually, in China, for even for the primary school and the middle school, different students have different demand. For example, some people need to graduate from the high school and the senior high school. So they need to participate in the exam to enter the next stage of the study. So need to find the strong demand for preparation for examination. Others will be suitable, flexible. And for the different areas have different situations, we need to use different solutions. So we call the flexible learning with differentiated services. The second one is diverse teaching model with selected content. For this, some people need to graduate, so they need to place this examination. For other students, maybe using some content out of the textbook, beyond the textbook, and also using open education resources with ICT support. Actually, for students learning online, for the students learning at home, just reading the textbook is not enough. So we need to provide resources and provide services and to organize the learning at home. So we using open education resources. And also the government leading and the skill-based management. As you know, China is a big country, different areas have different situations, different situation of ICT. So the government leading the enterprises and the schools and the school will organize the learning. So we call it school-based management. And also we need a school family collaboration and also society involved. It means it is not as usual. The student just is learning at school. Here we need the cooperation between teachers and the parents working together. And also society will be provided some tools, services for this. The second experience is we use a new concept, flexible pedagogy. Actually, we try to promote the learning through the new concept, easy, engaged, and the effective learning. So we using these strategies, a learner-centered educational strategy, which provide choices from main dimensions of study, such as times and the location of learning, resources of teaching and learning, instruction approaches, learning activities support for teaching and learners. So this is a new concept, learning-centered education strategy, flexible pedagogy. So if we use flexible learning, flexible pedagogy, for organizing for learning and teaching, it means the schools and organizers will organize flexibly. And for teachers and the learners, for teachers and the students, they need the services, especially effective services. And also we need the collaboration among governments, enterprises, and the schools. For example, for the ICP, for the infrastructure, for the resources, we need enterprises to support. And the same schools and the families needed to buy new computer, new devices. And also we need digital learning resources, quality digital resources, actually suitable digital learning resources. And also we need to provide digital learning tools, convenient. As you know, today we're using a platform, Zoom. Actually, it's a platform developed, upgraded in last year, so not upgraded so fast. And also diverse learning methods. Each student, each school, each classroom, each courses may be different methodologies. And the fundamental one is reliable devices and the network infrastructure. Actually, central government try to provide network infrastructure. The Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Science and the ICT to negotiate all the big companies to provide the infrastructure for the storages, for the cloud services. So this is the 7 core elements for supporting digital classes and disrupted learning. The third one is the central government, fundamental network infrastructure. So as I mentioned, central government mobilize all majority technical service providers, increase the server bandwidth and of universities and schools. So we need to make the connection between the schools, universities to families, and also need to make the quality of the internet. And also we use using technical courses, actually because of some areas for the rural area is not easy to find the bandwidth have good quality of infrastructure. So we using technical courses. China Education Television broadcasting of premier and middle school classes using television. And this slide show you some information. The first one is a student in rural areas looking, watch the TV for the courses from the central government and the learning at home. And also from central government provided some platforms for provide digital resources. And the same areas also provide the local resources. The right one is from Wuhan. Actually, some people, some universities, some enterprises provide free services to Wuhan because the first city in China be shut down and because of the political situation. The first one is diverse model of learning. Actually, we in China, we have a lot of models of learning. The first one is online lecture, as you see it is today. And then online discussing, virtual experiment and simulation. Virtual experiment and simulation is from the university. And also group practice. And some universities are even including middle school using debate in webinar, against competition, case study, brainstorming. A lot of models of learning will be used in different course. This slide show you a TV education. Actually, for a student also learn at home using the channel of China Education TV. Actually, CETV actually provide 4 channels for primary school for in terms for the other courses, for the basic courses. In some schools, some company provide some tools. Here show you a School AI. Actually is another famous company focused on artificial intelligence. They're using AI teachers to create personalized learning system for students. Actually, as you know, you see this slide. The student learn from a computer, but the computer can provide resources adaptively. The fifth one is digital textbook and resources. For all the publish, make announcement, free all the textbooks in digital there for all the students. So this is the first term for the publish. All the publishers from including from the Ministry of Education and also private enterprises provide digital resources for teaching and learning. And also we can find some teaching resources from different areas. This slide show you some information from different areas. The first one is a national public platform for education resources. Actually, this platform operated for more than 10 years. Actually, for all the students can use. Actually, for each school, maybe one teacher, one excellent courses. It means they actually is a famous event to create the quality digital resources, and all teachers will be involved. It means one teacher, one excellent course. It means every teacher will provide a course, online excellent course. Maybe for 45 minutes and courses, not just a whole course. And for each course, we find a quality teacher, expert teaching to provide. So it's very important. And also we can find some public platforms from the local and some all levels. And here we can find some platforms for higher education, vocational, primary school, and other areas. Actually, we can this slide show you some information from our report. Actually, we're using different tools and different for different areas. You can use PowerPoint. You can screen catch. You can video productions. You can synchronize living teaching. You can asynchronous teaching. Actually, this slide show you some information from tools, platforms, and the resources. So we find this infrastructure. We find the new model. We find the resources. All the students will be involved effectively? No. Actually, the next one is active learning during educational disruption. So active learning at home is a key issue. So if we make the learning active for all the students, so we try to provide guidance for the family to how to organize, how to help, how to accompany the students' learning. The first one is reviewing what you have learned, and then scheduling your learning and playing, and selecting learning resources on demand, studying and playing in a team, making learning process effective, and check the quality of learning by yourself. Actually, 6 steps. The parents and the teachers help the students to create the experience, and then make it happen as a usual way, as a similar way, and in a long time make the competence. This slide show you a student how to learn actually at home in the disruption. Actually, this is a student, actually is a college student, female college student from Sichuan province. Sit still in the snow for 2 hours, looking for second and online courses, over 3,800 meters in high mountain, because they try to learn. Actually, it's very, very famous stories in China. And also this story we published in our report. So active learning comes from the inner yearning for learning. Even with the good learning conditions, we can create learning create the conditions through the own effort. So don't give up. Let's say it's very important experience for share for other students. So that's 6 areas efforts we done from China. The next one is what we do for the global image education. Actually, is from the experience of our institute, Smart Learning Institute. So last year, we published a lot of reports, guidance, actually 10 guidance and handbooks. The first one is flexible learning in large scale. We published in March 15, 2020, handbook flexible learning during education disruption. The second one is active learning at home, published in March 27, 2020. The third one is instruction design, guidance on flexible learning during campus closures. Actually, this is for higher education. The fourth one is open educational practice, using how to use an OER. The fifth one is personal data and privacy protection, and then learning and tutoring with virtual and the simulation experiment and others. Actually, today I will show you 3 examples. The first one is flexible learning, and then active learning, and then open education practice. So for the first book, we use the 7 key elements for supporting disrupting the classes and disrupting learning. Actually, I mentioned it before. Actually, this handbook is quite popular widely. More than 100 countries use our handbook, and it be translated to more than 10 local languages all over the world. So here we share 7 elements and even experience. The first one is applying online education to provide flexible education. It means flexible education will use online learning. The second one is how to ensure reliable network infrastructure, including the central government and the local government and even enterprises, how to be involved in. The third one is utilize friendly learning tools. We need a lot of tools in China and a lot of tools all over the world. Then adopting suitable digital learning resources. We provide a list of open education resources in the report and find some examples, how to use, how to select, how to ensure, how to assessment the digital resources. The fifth is online teaching and learning, how to facilitate, how for the students, how for the teachers and principals, how to make the effective learning happen, and then providing support and services for teachers and students. It means which kind of services for teachers and students they need and how to provide them. The last one is empowering the collaboration between government, enterprises, and the schools, especially for the government, how to make the policy to support the new policy, how to support this kind of education. The third one is active learning at home in education. Actually, for this handbook, we have 3 parts. The first one is protecting yourself and prevent from COVID-19. So the first one is the health. The safety is the key issue. Then becoming active learning during education disruption. So we find how to select the content, how to find the resources, how to evaluate yourself, how to collaborate with some students online, and how to make assignments. Actually, a lot of solutions and the tips in this book. The last one is keeping health at home is very important in both the physical health and the mental health. Actually, for the student learning at home, a lot of concerns, a lot of challenges for students. Actually, in China, we find 3 category students. Actually, because of the students can go to school, so stay at home. So student is not make discipline for themselves. So for the family, for the parents and the student, the kids in the home, they have a lot of activities in the home. The first one is study-centered activity. It depends on the parents have user learning and reading and all the time. So it's easy to create the activities. The second category is communication-centered. It means parents are very talkative and keep communicating with the kids and then make the activities. The third one is playing. For the playing game, even playing other games, online game or the computer games. So we try to find how to make the activity transfer to the learning activity is easy. It is a big challenges. So we find some features how to make it happen. And also we use some tips for check the quality of learning for yourself. And this actually is example. If you how to make the plan, how to select resources, and to evaluate. So here this slide shows you some tools in China and some tools in all over the world using test, robotics, and the concept map to make the assessment. The second one is open education resources and the open education practice during school classes. Actually, this handbook consists 5 parts. The first one is background of using open education practice during COVID outbreak. What's the background? Then applying open education practice, and then how to create open education resource competence for applying open education practice, and then how to use typical OER-enabled distance learning strategy and the same calculation. Actually, this handbook is in line with the UNESCO OER recommendation. Actually, this recommendation just announced in 2018. In this recommendation is for all the countries. They listed 5 objectives. The first one is building capacity of stakeholders to create, access, reuse, adapt, and redistribute OER. Developing supportive policy, encouraging inclusive and equitable quality OER, nurturing the creation of sustainability models of OER, facilitating international cooperation. Actually, this handbook is in strongly in line with this recommendation. Last, I want to show you my concerns and how to make the quality and the resilience of education. So we use smart education as a solution for quality and the resilience of education. So the first concern is how to, in China, actually it's come from China, maybe other Asian countries has similar situation. The public sector education is a big concern, a big challenges. As you know, China developed so fast, and also families have invested so much for the kids' learning. So outside training, outside learning, outside the shared education is quite popular, and is in some situations is effective. So the training after classes have some advantages. The first one is the individual audience, one-to-one. Then adaptive learning. So for the trainer can find the true demand of the learning for each student, and the flexible time and the space. for each student, for each case. The enterprises find some different space and suitable time for them, and encourage and motivating. So, but the problem is just memorize, just keep the knowledge in memory. It's just for the prepare the examination. And actually in China, we have half of them are public schools, half of them are private schools for training outside school. So the central government will change the situation. Actually, because the schools can benefit, can find some interest from the training, because they use technology, using computer can share experience, can use the suitable video clips for each student to learn, and just for the answer the questions. This is the first issue. The second issue is for how to use ICT in the classroom, in the structure. Actually, in China, we have more than 20 years experience for integrating ICT in classroom, in the courses. But for some schools, some classrooms, we still have some difficulties, some challenges. The first one is the diversity of students. Actually, come from the differences emerged when students use valid digital devices and the media for daily learning and living. Actually, some schools using the digital technology, using the computer, using mobile phone, using iPhone, but other is not. So it makes a big diversity for the students. The second one is differences between classroom with diverse technology or not. Actually, traditional, if you're teaching, you just need to deal with the maybe 15 students. But in the technology-rich classroom, you will deal with more than 15 devices, digital devices as well. That's quite different. And each student will be using different methodology, maybe methods. Maybe the pace will be different. Maybe the learning method is different. Maybe the content is different. So for the teachers, it's not easy to deal with this kind of situation. The second one is demand of ICT literacy. Actually, we find the new needs of teaching competence for information age. It's a traditional. If the student, if the teacher is expert for the subject, for example, for mathematics, for physicals, and if you have some experience in teaching, you will have a value in the classroom. But for the ICT in the classroom is not easy. You need new technologies, new capacity using technology, but how to get the technology, how to get the capacity as the literacy is another issue. You can find some models for achieve the competence, but it's not effectively. The last one is digital divide. Actually, digital natives are not easy managed and coordinated by digital mechanisms in a technology-rich classroom. Actually, for the older, for the senior teachers, because of not so much experience for using technology, but for the older students, digital natives have so much experience for technologies. So it's not coordinate how to is not managed. It's a big issue. So in China, we use the smart education for change the situation. So actually, for smart education, we propose the 3 layers. The first one is layer, smart learning environments. So we try to make the learning effectiveness of learning, efficiency of schooling, and trying to consider the efficiency of tools and resources is needed to be considered. Maybe positive, maybe negative, maybe no use. The second one, the second layer is take knowledge, enhance the teaching and the learning. So we focus on personalized learning. Actually, it's a famous new term all over the world. But in the classroom, we try to use adaptive teaching. It means differentiated teaching, not the one for all. The third one is evidence-based education system. We try to focus on the knowledge productivity of the country or the whole country. And we need to find the human resources systems. It's very important. As you know, China is the largest country of the young education, but is not the strongest country in education. So we need to enter a new stage. So for this, if we consider the smart education, we try to find the new experience in China. So we selected a lot of areas for piloting and to try to find solutions for the 6 new problems we were faced in all of the world, especially in China. The first one is high digital literacy for both teachers and students. Maybe using curriculum, maybe other activity. So what's the solution? We need to find the solution. The second one is innovative teaching methods and strategies. So how to transform teaching and learning in the classroom empowered by technology. The first one is diverse and precise assessment of learning and education. Find the way to using maybe big data to use. But if you precise assessment for learning process and also for the learning achievement, so we need another methodologies. The fourth one is personalized on-demand services for teachers and students. It means for all the teachers, they need services from outside the classroom, outside the school. So what's the new services? The first one is effective practice on open education resources. Actually, if you discuss with a teacher, they always say we need quality digital resources. So how to find it? Actually, open education resources provide some solutions, but they need effective practice. The last one is for local government, they need the educational governance supported by AI and big data. It means we need evidence to support the policy, to make the policy effective. So the last one, we try to summarize the smart education. So the aim, the target is quality and the resilience of education. So if we create smart education ecosystem, we have 3 key elements. The first one is for focusing on transforming teaching and learning enabled through technology. It means we will use technology, transform education, not just using technology as a tool, as a supplement. The second one, we need to building a digital learning infrastructure conducive to smart education. So effective, strong, very close, sustainable infrastructure is very important. The first one is ensuring forward thinking governance and policy. So the government, the policy is the key issue. So we need to find the government governance and the policy mix will be more forward thinking. So let's want to show you today. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Hwang, for your very insightful presentation. I think it definitely has broadened our horizon on online learning and education and how to look at it more comprehensively from, I think, mental health to pedagogies to support not only teachers, but also parents. I think Chinese has such an impressive system. We Thailand, we need to keep it up. So yeah, thank you so much for that. I think that our participant will have some questions for you afterward. So to moving along, I would like to invite Dr. Nataporn Sermbut, Dr. Plair, CEO of Starfish Education Trust, as a lead discussant. She had been in education innovator in Thailand and have been working for over 15 years on education and teaching and learning across Thailand. So I would like to invite you to share with us education situation in Thailand during the pandemic and explore the strategy that fit with the Thailand national context to tackle with it. So Dr. Plair, please, the floor is yours.